Hi there, listener, and welcome to this special episode of the Ski Podcast. This episode is entirely devoted to snow reports from around Europe, principally because we got so many of them this week I couldn't fit them into the regular episode. So the good news is that Switzerland is back on the cards after their reversal of their decision last yesterday, and our first snow report is from Charlie Rees, our regular reporter from last season, who was out in Diavolezza in the Engadin Valley in Switzerland.
Hi, this is Charlie reporting from Switzerland. Today I'm actually skiing in Diavolezza in the Engadin region of Graubünden. I'm looking up at Piz-Bernina and Piz-Palu, two very famous mountains. Piz-Bernina is actually the tallest mountain in the Eastern Alps and the only one over 4,000 metres, so a pretty impressive sight. The Engadin is actually quite a special region of Switzerland. It's completely cut off from the other areas by high mountain passes, and actually has managed to retain its own identity. And actually, a lot of people, I think 44,000, speak the fourth language of Switzerland, which is Romansh, which is sort of a leftover language from Latin, quite influenced by both German and Italian. There's lots of skiing to be had in the Engadin. So, obviously everybody knows St. Moritz. You have the Diavolezza, which we're currently skiing on today, the Corvatsch and Corviglia as part of St. Moritz. But then as you move further down into the lower Engadin Valley, you have Schkuhl and Zuoz. Additionally, the Engadin is actually connected to Austria at the other end, and you can quite easily reach places like Surfhaus Fisladis or Nauders on the Reschen Pass. So there's lots of skiing to be had, and you can quite easily do some sort of road trip if you want to change it up a bit. But yeah, as you can imagine, there's lots of skiing in St. Moritz as well, so that can quite easily satisfy you for a week. The weather at the moment is absolutely beautiful. There's hardly anyone skiing at the moment, but we are due quite a significant snowfall in the next week or so. So by the time this podcast comes out, the Alps should have received quite a big dumping of snow, and more resorts should be open. So yesterday we did a bit of cross-country skiing in St. Moritz. There's lots of that open at the moment. I think there's about 230 kilometres of cross-country pistes to ski. We did the classic cross-country skiing. It was actually very difficult, quite a lot more difficult than I was imagining. And if you want to hear a bit more about that, especially in St. Moritz, I believe Ian did a piece on it in episode 75. So I suggest you look back at that if you want to find out more. So it's definitely something to try on a winter break. But for now, that's all from me in Switzerland, and back to Ian in the UK.
That's great, Charlie, and really good to hear him on the Ski Podcast again and saving me time by referring back to that episode when I was in Crans-Montana trying cross-country skiing. Now let's move to the Valais area of Switzerland, where Dave from the Ski Instructor podcast and SnowPros ski school was out with Magic Mike in Glacier 3000 Les Diableret.
Hello Ian, it's Dave Burrows from SnowPros Ski School. Once again I'm here with Magic Mike from Villars. How are you?
Hey, all good, thanks.
Good. We are on the chairlift on Glacier 3000. It's Friday, just before a whole bunch of ski resorts open here in Switzerland. So tomorrow we've got opening Verbier, Villars, bit of the Porte du Soleil, Chatel and Le Creuset. We've also got Laysan opening, Saas-Fez open, Glacier 3000. But we have had the most snowy week, unbelievable. There's about, what did you say, 1 metre?
Tuesday at 2,500 metres, there's 1 metre 30 of snow, and then at 1,800 up at Brete, there's reports of another 50 centimetres of snow as well. So everywhere's looking very white.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. We're on the chairlift now, and it looks out over the Vaux Alps and the Berner Oberland Alps, and it's absolutely white everywhere, deep into all the valleys. It's just best start to the season we've seen for at least 3 or 4 years, so really cool. And yeah, like, we are skiing. It's ski season is very much open, and we've got a full on base ready for the rest of the season. This is us done, and there's also a massive storm coming in tomorrow over this weekend as well, so there's going to be even more snow. We've been skiing powder all morning. It's been brilliant, isn't it, mate?
It's all good. It's looking great for Christmas and New Year as well. Really good.
Yeah, now talking of Christmas, New Year, I mean that we're in a bit of a spot here in Switzerland. I suppose you've been talking about this a lot with on the podcast there, Ian. But Switzerland's brought in this kind of knee-jerk rule on this latest variant and slam the doors shut for people and put quarantines and all sorts of stuff in place. And frankly, we've had a lot of concerned emails and stuff from our clients, and I've been basically telling them to kind of hang on as long as they can instead of cancelling, because I personally think that they're going to change it. There's no real justification for what they put in. The new variant is relatively mild, and frankly, it's already here in Switzerland as well. So there's no real justification for what they've put in place. So that's my personal view. But anyway, that's my rant over, and from me and Magic Mike in Glacier 3000. See you later. See you, Mike.
See you. Bye-bye.
Well, I just find that fascinating that Dave actually predicted that turnaround so accurately. Let's hope we have something similar over in Austria, where they're currently in lockdown. Andy Butterworth from Kaluma Travel has been on the show on a regular basis, and he sent this in to us from St Anton.
Hi Ian, hi everyone. Andy from Kaluma Ski over in St Anton, bringing you an up-to-date on-the-ground report from St Anton and Arlberg, Austria. The report sort of comes in two parts today, really. The first part being positive and good news, and the second part being annoying and frustratingly bad news. Part one, the good news. The winter season should have been starting in St Anton this weekend coming, 3rd, 4th, 5th of December was the opening weekend, and the snow is fantastic. So as far as snow reports go, it couldn't really be any better. Up at the top, so over sort of like 1,800 metres, up to just shy of 3,000 metres, the top of Veluga in St Anton. The snow's phenomenal. It's well over a metre of pack already, which is great. And almost daily, there's at the moment for the last 3 or 4 days, there's been fresh dumps. So waking up every morning to, clearing 2 or 3, 4, 5 inches off the car before heading out. Snow shoveling every morning. Snow's great. I'm going on my first ski tour tomorrow, so I could probably give another update for Ian. And you guys on what the snow's actually like. But all the reports so far from everyone who's been for a ski tour is the snow's awesome. It's been sort of like waist deep powder coming down the piece for all those that are happy to tour up. And looking like more snow's coming. It's looking like heavy snowfall again for the next 3 or 4 days. So the snowpack for the season, when it starts, is going to be pretty spectacular. Now part two, the not so good news. We've been in a lockdown for 10 days now in Austria. As far as lockdowns go, it's not particularly strict, and we're not confined to houses. We can still go out and exercise. We can still go ski touring. We can still go hiking, still go biking. But the lockdown is pretty much closed tourism. It's closed hotels, chalets, bed and breakfast, Airbnbs. It's closed restaurants, cafes, bars, nightclubs. Everything's pretty much closed. So there's not much to do and not much reason to actually go out apart from your essential exercise. The government should have been giving us an update today on when the lockdown's going to be lifted. At the moment, the 20-day lockdown ends on the 3rd or the 12th of December. So in theory, the resort should be open from the 13th. We were all expecting that update to come today, just to confirm that everything's going to go ahead on the 13th of December. But as of yet, there has been no update. The Austrian government have actually come out and said they're probably going to not announce anything until the middle of next week. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week, we're expecting the announcement of when the lockdown is actually going to finish and the season can officially start. We're still very optimistic that the Austrians fully want the season to go ahead. The government, I don't think, can afford to keep bailing people out, which is pretty much the same the world over. And companies like us, like Kaluma, we're just desperate to get the season underway. We've got bookings through the roof. Bookings are tremendous. It definitely seems like people want to travel. They want to ski. It's been missed. The snow's fantastic. We just need the people to give us the green light to start operating again. So on that side, just frustrating, bit annoying, waiting for more updates, and waiting to get on with what we love doing, which is looking after people and skiing. So fingers tightly crossed. So not much more news to report other than that. Excellent snow and frustrating business. But let's hope that changes quite soon, and we'll get to see as many people as possible out on the slopes. Cheers, bye-bye.
Well, I completely feel for Andy there. You know, they've got lots of bookings, they've got loads of snow. All we need is for the borders to open again. And I have seen that infections have gone down significantly since lockdown was brought in. So hopefully they'll be back into a situation very shortly where we'll all be able to go over there and enjoy it. Now, next, let's move on to Keith Webb, a regular listener to the show, who is out in Kaprun.
Hi Ian, it's Keith here with an update on the snow conditions in Zellamzee Kaprun area. It's 30th of November. So Zellamzee is still closed until the 4th of December, but the Kitzsteinhorn Glacier has been running as normal. It's got a huge amount of snow. 75 centimetres dropped on the top today alone, and in the valley floor we've seen about 30 to 40 centimetres. The snow is incredible. The lifts are closed for the better half of today with high winds, so I suspect there'll be some avalanche warnings tomorrow, but the conditions are amazing. The Kitzsteinhorn Glacier is looking fantastic. As long as we get rid of all the COVID restrictions, we are looking at a bumper start to the season, and let's all keep our fingers crossed that we can all get out here as soon as possible. Take care. Bye.
Well, that's a similar story from Keith there over in Kaprun, so let's hope that lockdown ends and we can travel. Let's jump countries and go over to Italy, where we have Luca Caruso from the Cervinia Tourist Office.
Hello, this is Luca Caruso from Cervinia Tourist Management with an update on the ski condition in Cervinia. At the moment, thanks to the altitude and the low temperatures of the last days, almost every slope is already open. The connections with the nearest resorts of Zermatt in Switzerland and Val Tournanche are operating. Groomed slopes with a mix of artificial and natural snow allow people to ski down to the village. Cervinia is famous for the guarantee of good snow coverage from fall to springtime. The season has started on October 16 and it will continue till May 1st. The access to the ski area is allowed with green pass and face mask to wear on the covered lifts like gondolas and cable car. The realization of Matterhorn Alpine Crossing, the cableway from Plateau Rosa to Claim Matterhorn, is still proceeding, and we consider the possibility to cross from Cervinia to Zermatt, also without skiing, from the spring 2023. Thank you for having us on the pod. I look forward to welcome you all here.
Well, grazie, Luca. Thank you for that snow report. Great to hear a report in from Italy. Let's go over to France now. We're going to go to Steve Angus, a regular contributor to the podcast. He is out in Val d'Isère, where he works as an instructor.
Well, this is quite a turn up for the books. I am on the outside decking area of the Marmotte's restaurant up the Boulevard here in Val d'Isère, and we have got a ski season. It's finally started. It seems to be about 10 years, I know it hasn't been, since we were last up here, and I'm looking around. To be honest, you have fantastic conditions. Had a little bit of fresh snow that came in on Thursday into Friday, and it's a few more centimetres. But crucially, up here high in the French Alps, above about 2,500 metres, there is a decent covering of snow. And as I look around, the green runs coming down from the top of the Olympic and the Funeval, they are all coming down, the blue runs, even the top half, the Oak Orange, down to the Marmotte's chairlift. And in the last few minutes, I've actually just opened the Borsat chair as well, but it doesn't look like it's been pieced up there. But fantastic conditions for opening weekend. Certainly in terms of how busy it is, the busiest opening weekend they've ever recorded in terms of visitor numbers. Of course, mainly sort of local second homeowners and uber hardcore skiers and snowboarders type all over the mountain, but it's certainly busy, and of course it's not just up here on the Boulevard that's open. The other sector that is open is up on the Fournet Glacier, the Piscin Glacier. However, getting up there is a little bit more laborious. You've got to take the cable car and the gondola even before you put your skis on. So I think most people have chosen to come up at the Boulevard today, and it is lovely conditions. The pieces are fantastic. It's just just a pity we can't ski down sort of even as low as the Folly do. Is not quite enough snow there, and certainly things like skiing down into town, whether it's down the Fournay end of town or the Dye end of town, just not quite enough snow. But the sunshine has started to come out. There's a few clouds around, temperatures around at -7, -8 up here, and you might hear me just squeaky boots. It is that lovely crisp winter cold squeaky sound that we're noticing as we walk around. So the winter has finally started, and there's, you might be able to tell by my voice, a lot of excitement around. A lot of ski testings going on. For those are out here for opening weekend, whether it's this year or any year, lots of ski companies come and do testing, and snowboard companies for that matter. And then, of course, it's not long until we start looking forward to the start of the World Cup races in a couple of weeks' time here in Val d'Isère. But from a very fantastic, and I'm not just saying that to encourage people to come out here to the Alps in these strange times where the protocols are in place, masks and things like that are obligatory on buses and lifts, things like that. But the conditions really are fantastic for an opening weekend, if a little bit limited in terms of the amount that is open. So yes, it's sun shining, and it's going to be like that for most of the weekend as people are, those that are a bit braver, venturing off the side of the piste into sort of boot deep powder snow, but the actual coverage is a little bit patchy, so be careful if you do venture off the piste. Enjoy yourself, and see you on the slopes from Val d'Isère.
Well, listener, I hope you enjoyed those snow reports. I'd like to thank our contributors, Charlie, Dave, Andy, Keith, Luca and Steve, for sending those in. And don't forget that if you want to get all the latest news on what's going on in resort, to listen into the main episode of the podcast. We'll have another one coming out tomorrow and every 2 weeks after that throughout the season. Thanks very much, listener. Bye.